I don't know how much room I have on my camera, or if the hacker's on, it'll automatically shut off when I start to tell some truth. But I'm gonna have to keep just speaking the whole situation and calling it out until it's properly dealt with finally. But last night there was an incident, and it was with the family talking at the table. And I just have to side note: very few would be able to understand what it's like to be stuck in a family dynamic watching a destiny swap thing, and basically spiritual inheritance, misappropriation with your other siblings happen right in front of your eyes. So, also one other side note. There was a golden eagle on a globe left in here by Shefsky, who worked for Paramount, and I think there's something significant to that. Wink. So anyways, back to it. Basically, they were talking about selling the land, and my dad said, yeah, the kids need to buy it. But what he means by the kids is everyone except for Sally. So basically, I have been the one to have the dream of turning this place into a restaurant. It's freezing. Nobody wants to live here. People that have that kind of money, they're going to build modern houses these days. And really, this needs to stop. And I'm going to be making more videos about it and begging for a financial investor to invest with me in it, because the truth of it is all of my siblings together would not be able to put together 1/10 of the restaurant business. And I've watched them initiate other things I had going and other ideas. I had a store at one point in time. Well, my sister's store is exactly like it now, the one that pushed me out of the business I started for her here, basically, without properly buying me out. She wouldn't have been able to write the grant, one of the best grants I've ever read, and it was like as soon as I'd done all my stuff there, I was gone. And another thing that came out about that is my mom slipped up. Well, not because they're under my control, and that needs to be broken. It's kind of happening. But she slipped up and said, Missy's coffee shop. No, your son owns it too. But that's basically exactly what happened. Is she was the bully, had to have her way all the time, and that's what she does. Is she has to have her way, and nobody else gets their way until finally you're so frustrated you want out, and you just hand her over the business. So it's real obvious to see who's got the sort of dark contract, wrong influence of the whole situation, and it's playing out in that other business. Anyways, I was the one that was tweeted. My espresso was tweeted by Alton Brown, the Iron Chef. Okay. Like I said, I was the one that had the main amount of business savvy concerning this child's care program. And basically the same thing. There's no way in the world that all of them together would be able to put together even close to the unique restaurant that I'd be able to put together here. So anyways, maybe the one that is supposed to invest in me and restore some of the lost investment capital will show up. That'd be great. But it's in those final moments, and that final destiny swap needs to flop. It needs to not go through. Because if they end up with yet another business idea of mine, another dream of mine, it can't happen. It's got to stop. I don't know if Keanu, you got restaurants? This one's very historically significant place here. This story became national news concerning the labor strikes and the explosion at the Union Building up there, and the dragging and lynching of Frank Little, a hero of Butte history. This guy here, this meatpacking butcher guy, he was actually one of the parties involved in that. So, I wish I could get a shot of that. I don't think it's not going to show up. Maybe in the right lighting or something I can get the globe with the golden eagle in there. So, basically, those are the types of things that I deal with all the time. And it's time credit was given where credit was due. And, basically those of us that are the oldest children that deserve to have the inheritance, because that's Hebrew law. We don't deserve to have our ideas, essence, inheritance, credit for our work stolen, and, you know, somebody else taking the credit for what we've done, on and on and on and on. It's something that needs to be fixed. And you know what? If I had the settlement for the George Floyd level injustice that happened to me and all of the defamation, hacking, stalking, and everything that's occurred since, I would be able to get this restaurant going. If I had any of the money from my hammered copper jewelry that ended up at Kmart, my exact same hoops, hammered copper hoop earrings ended up in Kmart. I don't know who sold those or who sold them, the design to sell them, or any of the other jewelry. Almost 20 years later, the jewelry genre I started is ginormous. Thousands of jewelry artists around the world making it, has even inspired other subgenres. Yet I'm trying to deal with even just having the basic right. You know, sorry, I'm having a tough time speaking. Another victory happened where basically they tried to set me up for some sort of fraud with the government, but that fell through. So I'm feeling the, you know, evil eye, the monitoring spirits going on. And, you know, a settlement for going through everything I went through would get me this business. Any of the money for the jewelry line genre I started, that became ginormous. My designs being stolen, mass-produced, reproduced, and sold to Walmart, Kmart, Hallmark, Murdoch's, Temu, Free People, and God knows where else. If I had just any sort of like return on that, all that, I'd be able to do it. You know, and if none of that can happen, I do believe justice, restitution, and recompense is supposed to happen. You know, I believe that those that have been behind electronic hacking my devices electronically, wink, and the defamation and the, you know, attempts to take me out completely so that their destiny swap can be completed. You know, it's all going to be traced, tracked. It's all going to be proven. They're going to be forced to return what they have stolen in time for me to do this. There's going to have to be restitution for what they have put me through. The corrupt people in the courthouse in this town and corrupt policemen and whoever was behind that in the first place. Their scrubbing of records and, you know, mishandling other documents illegally, proven, dealt with properly, made right. False defamation on my character to cover up fraud, proven, connected. You know, my inheritance that I didn't get, proven, connected, dealt with properly at the highest level of law with a just and upright judge. And those misusing their positions of authority to cover up fraud, legally hacking devices, messing with somebody's mail, and all the other thousands and thousands of federal crimes that I've committed that I've had to survive and live through. While all the time somebody else takes credit for my work, somebody I was nice enough to build a business for and contributed day and night in my own finances for years, and then came back and consulted and filled in when necessary. I was the star business player, you know? So, I mean, it's all really sketchy. They knew that back then. That's why I was invited to participate in business builder courses through the Chamber of Commerce in this town. That's why I was asked to give trainings, food program trainings with the state of Montana. That's why I was training not only other directors, but the people at the, you know, government umbrella organization that trained the other directors. That's why I wrote a grant and I was on the news for the grant. So I didn't deserve to be thanked by having my life almost ruined, by being almost killed, by being illegally incarcerated for 90 days, by having my medical records scrubbed to cover it all up, by having my character defamed by corrupt workers of iniquity and injustice. It's time that I got restitution, recompense, and justice. And I got to initiate what I came up with. God gave me the ideas for a reason, not to just be left out in the cold. And my inheritance, my destiny, my purpose handed to somebody else. No, the kids aren't meant to own this. I am meant to run a restaurant here, and that's the way it's always been. So the destiny swapping is stop, blocked, fully reversed, and extreme multiplication. The energetic transference is canceled. May they be forced to return everything that they have stolen. May the full, true story be told and made known. And springboard opportunities for all that have been stopped, blocked to cover up fraud. May the sabotagers be sabotagers, the blockers be blocked, those committing federal crimes to cover up their fraud be fully exposed. May it all be traced, tracked, connected. The phone hackers traced to those that are paying off the hackers. I mean, it was really obvious in Willow Creek who was behind trying to cause me to flip out, to, cover up their fraud and try to set me up falsely, illegally to cover up their fraud. That happened at Lolo too. It was really, really obvious the organization, the dirty, disgusting, fraudulent organization behind it all. So may it all be fully exposed, and may it all come to light, and may it all be finally made right. Because I would make this place polish. I would make this place shine. I've got the gifts, the skills, the business savvy, the know-how, and the experience to make it all beautiful. And I deserve to get to live out my destiny, my purpose, my plans, and not have it stolen and taken by others. That's happened far too much in my life, and it needs to be stopped and reversed right now.